This sign right there.
Attorney Winky, you all set? Going on the record. State of Wisconsin versus Charles Dupriest, 25 CF 4371. Appearances, please.
Tom Hasla appears for the state. Good afternoon.
Attorney Anna Winnicki on behalf of Mr. Dupriest, who appears in person. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your timeliness today. I'm Judge Berrios. This matter is before the court today for sentencing. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense counsel, are you and your client ready to proceed?
We are.
We're going to turn to the state, and counsel, can you please confirm that there has been compliance with victim rights?
Yes, Your Honor. There has been compliance with victim rights. We submitted 2 letters under seal and have notified the appropriate parties of the proceedings today.
All right, please proceed.
Thank you. Your Honor, Mr. Dupriest stands before this court convicted of 9 offenses, most of them felonies. He faces approximately 14 years of initial confinement and 14 years of extended supervision across all the convictions. The state recommends 5 years initial confinement followed by 5 years of extended supervision, along with treatment-focused conditions and eligibility for substance abuse program after 3 years in prison. This case is not about punishing poverty. It is about holding a parent accountable for choices that put children in danger. As this court knows, on September 15th, 6 children, some of them young as 2 months old, were safe. They had eaten dinner, they were watching a movie. Some were already asleep. They had a place to stay. And Mr. Dupriest chose to take them out of that safety, not because he had no options, but because he rejected the help that was available. Family support was there, community resources were there, and he chose not to use them. And the consequences of that choice are real. A 7-year-old now struggles with anxiety, fear of the dark, and abandonment. A 9-year-old has learned that childhood means caring for siblings while adults are too intoxicated to do so. That is the harm in this case. Your Honor, there are 2 sides to Mr. Dupriest. There is the version described by his church and family, respectful, compassionate, caring, and engaged. And then there is the version that appears when no one is watching, the version that is emotionally and physically abusive towards both mothers of his children, the version that abuses alcohol, the version that exposes children to smoke and firearms, the version that prioritizes pride over safety, the version his own child does not feel safe around. The question is not which version exists. The question is which version controls his behavior. And that brings us to the central issue in this case, responsibility. The PSI provides a particularly telling insight. A close family member described being deeply disturbed with Mr. Dupriest, noting that he had allowed and participated in this crime and failed to consider the impact on his children and the burden now placed on others forced to care for them. That same family member also observed that Mr. Dupriest has an air of entitlement and has not accepted his role in this crime, rather deflects the blame on others. That is not the state's characterization. That is from his own family. Mr. Dupriest loves his children. Even members of his own family say that, and his decision to waive their testimony at trial in this case reflects that. And there is also no question that substance abuse has affected his ability to parent. But what is deeply troubling is what the state learned during this case. Disclosures by Ms. Zielinski about her relationship with Mr. Dupriest, disclosures about Chance's maternal grandma reported that he was physically abusive towards her daughter as well, who is the mother that passed away. And while there are no convictions tied to those allegations or even charges, this court knows what happens behind closed doors is often not reflected in a criminal record. Mr. Dupriest minimizes his conduct. He deflects blame. He continues to portray himself as the victim. Even in his testimony, he denied ownership of a firearm that had his DNA on it, his own children reporting that he carried firearms, and instead attempted to shift blame to Ms. Zielinski. If he cannot accept responsibility now, there is no reason to believe his involvement in the criminal justice system is over. His history reinforces a concern that his contact with the criminal justice system will not end. Mr. Dupriest has 2 prior juvenile adjudications involving weapon possession offenses. As an adult, he was convicted of 3rd-degree sexual assault in 2010. In 2016, he was convicted of disorderly conduct while armed, arising out of a child custody dispute. And in 2017, he was convicted of a sex offender registry violation. The state would note in the 2016 case, 2016 CF 5196, the court ordered him to complete a parenting class, undergo a mental health assessment, and complete an AODA assessment with any recommended treatment. Those interventions were intended to address the very issues we are still seeing today. They did not work. Even beyond his prior convictions, Mr. Dupriest has had continued concerning law enforcement contacts and referrals to this office. It includes resisting in 2020, an allegation of strangulation involving a roommate in 2024, and a more recent referral in June of 2025 involving allegations that he threatened a female neighbor with a firearm. I raise these matters with clear acknowledgement that Mr. Dupriest was not charged of these offenses, but they demonstrate that since his last conviction, members of our community have continued to report issues with Mr. Dupriest to law enforcement. Mr. Dupriest may love his children, but preventing future harm requires more than that. It requires accountability. It requires recognizing what went wrong and a genuine commitment to change. We don't see that here. Mr. Dupriest, even in the PSI, has not accepted responsibility for his conduct. In contrast, Ms. Zielinski, during her Mirandized interviews, was visibly emotional, crying, and repeatedly apologizing for her actions. She pled guilty. Mr. Dupriest presents the opposite. He continues to cast himself as a victim rather than acknowledging the harm he has caused. And to be clear, Your Honor, Mr. Dupriest is not the victim in this case. His children are the victims. The family members now raising those children are also victims. They're the ones living with the consequences of Mr. Dupriest's decisions. So the question becomes, what sentence is appropriate? Probation would unduly depreciate the seriousness of the offenses. It would send the wrong message about conduct that placed multiple children at risk. It would also send the wrong message that court orders matter. Mr. Dupriest was previously convicted of a firearm offense, and he was also told when he was convicted of a felony offense, he faced up to 5 years in prison. Yet that warning did not deter future criminal conduct. It would also further signal that prior interventions don't carry as much weight. Mr. Dupriest has already been ordered to complete a parenting class, undergo a mental health evaluation, and participate in an alcohol and drug abuse assessment and treatment. Those opportunities were provided, and unfortunately, they did not prevent this offense. It's the state's position that a period of confinement is necessary to reflect the seriousness of what occurred and to impress upon Mr. Dupriest that this conduct cannot continue. The state's recommendation does that. It provides accountability, structure, and an opportunity for treatment, but only after a meaningful period of confinement. Your Honor, this case comes down to choices, and Mr. Dupriest made choices that put his children in harm's way. They and Mr. Dupriest's family members are now living with the consequences. The sentence should ensure that those choices are not repeated. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Defense counsel.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to just make sure that the court did receive all the letters of support. It was striking just the amount of sheer support that Mr. Dupriest enjoys. I would just like to point out some of the more positive things that his family, totally unsolicited, these were letters of support that came in from the members of his family and friends. It is striking to me as I was reviewing these, just the sheer strength of opinion that these people clearly have about Mr. Dupriest. One of the ones that I was very struck by, for example, was Miss Kenyatta Blue, who talks, she's a member of Mr. Dupriest's church, and she is not related to him, so she doesn't have any skin in the game, so to speak, but she remarks in her letter that he is a remarkable individual, a member of the church community, and that he puts himself out for people regularly. She is also struck by the challenges that he was facing. She does document just a number of things that Mr. Dupriest, during this time, that he did reach out to people for help, and she remarks about just the extent of the hardship that they were meeting, and she talks that was not a willful, she does not believe that it was a willful disregard for his children's well-being, but rather just a reaction to the overwhelming obstacles that he was facing. Mr. Dupriest was clearly a good friend, and that is remarkable about her letter. She also does talk about how this family in crisis was meeting just incredible obstacles. So we have a letter from his sister Breonna, and she documents that, in her words, that Charles is kind-hearted, very caring, and resourceful. And I don't want to go too much into the details because, of course, we only have so much time for sentencing, but I know that the court has read all of these letters, and so I just want to highlight some of them. Breonna does document that she believes that Mr. Dupriest not only loves his children, but wants the best for them, and that they are his #1 priority. She is actually requesting that he receive treatment, and I think that's should be an important part of the sentence, because there are some issues, for example, mental health and AODA issues, and then just going forward, treatment and counseling, and just the ability to become a better parent. That's what Mr. Dupriest wants. I know from our discussions, he is concerned that he improve and that he be a better parent going forward. I believe that he fully believes that he always has done his best for his children, but I know that he will gladly partake in any kind of services which will help him to be a better father. I think he is clearly concerned about his children. His brother, actually two brothers wrote letters talking about just how passionate Mr. Dupriest is about his children, how much he loves them, how they all are concerned that the children are missing their father, and they are clearly, as a family, they're very concerned about the children, and they've been so good about just trying to help the children in this situation, and it is a very unfortunate situation. We have additional letters from the family, all of whom just reinforce that Mr. Dupriest is a kind and loving and caring individual. I would also say that there is a letter from his friend Nate, who talks about the fact that Charles Dupriest goes out of his ways for his friends, and he brings up an instance where Charles Dupriest rode 8 miles on a cold March morning to be there for his dad's funeral. Nate talks about that he understands the severity of the situation, but he had asked for Mr. Dupriest to have a chance to work and be a better provider and father for these children. His mother, another friend, they all have documented just how much Charles Dupriest has done for other people in his life. So I just bring this up as to his character. Charles Dupriest is 34 years of age. He does have an HSED, which he got in January of I think it was 13. So he does have an education. And I did get a note that Charles's oldest brother, Ireland, is asking to speak. I don't know if we want to take a minute for that. Normally, that would have come before when I started, so that's why I wanted to do it as soon as we could.
That's okay, thank you. If you can please give us your full name for the record and spell your first and last name.
Ireland Jones, IRELAND JONES.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Charles' oldest brother. I'm gonna say this about my brother. Like the church lady said, he volunteers and he'll give you his all. Like what he did, I ain't saying it ain't right, but I know sometimes when you want to keep your family together, you're gonna do what you gotta do to keep your family together. And I'm gonna say this one thing about them kids, since then till now, like before them kids was happy, like they was like truly happy together. Like they didn't know their circumstances was bad, but all they knew they was with their mom, their dad. Like all his kids are by two parents, and it's like that's all they know. Like I say, his decision that he made wasn't right, but he had good intentions with it because he just want to keep his family together and not lean on nobody. But sometimes you got to let that pride go and lean on people. But like I say, my brother is not malicious. Like I heard everything the DA said, with all due respect. I know my brother. Like he wouldn't harm a fly unless the fly was messing with him. Like he not as people paint him the picture to be. Like I say, he'll give you the shirt off his back. And like for his kids, he would go to war for his kids, like all of them. Like I could say to this day, right now, all them kids miss him. And Age, and his kids' mother, they miss both of them because since they been on this earth, that's them the only two people they knew. Like they ain't never lived with nobody, they ain't never been with nobody. This is the only time they been without their parents. And now you can see that it's affecting them really, 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 really bad because they don't got neither one of their parents. And it's like, he don't need jail, like say he need help. They both need help, like they need help with employment and a place to live and stability. It's like jail is not gonna help them. Like both of them need to be with their kids. I pray that they get their stuff together so they can get their kids, and us as a family, we holding the kids down. It's like it's not a big burden because we just want him to get right and her to get right so they can get their kids. Like if you put them in jail, it's like you pushing them way further out the kid's life. Like, and I ain't saying it ain't fair because every action has a consequences, but to take them out their life, that'd be unfair to the kids. Like I would say, you need to get your stuff together, bro, so you could do what you got to do for your babies, because you know your babies miss you. Like for real, they miss you. But like I say, my brother not a bad person. He not like malicious like people trying to make him out to be. He love his kids, and it's like say, sometimes with family, you want to keep family together. Like you did it the wrong way. But that's all he was trying to do, keep his family together. Like I say, all his kids is by them too, except one. And it's like, that's all they know, is they little circle, you know what I mean? But like I say, he's not malicious, he's not a bad person. He'll give you the shirt off his back. I know for a fact, like, it's like a couple churches that he do volunteer for, like faithfully, like. But like I say, man, I love you, bro. Your kids love you. You gotta do what you gotta do, man, to get your babies back, man, because they miss you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Defense counsel, let's go back to you. And for the record, this court did receive all the communication that was filed by both the state and by defense counsel, and had an opportunity to read each and every single letter submitted. Please proceed.
Thank you. So I think that what we just heard certainly confirms just the numerous letters that we filed on Charles Dupriest's behalf as far as his character. Again, Mr. Dupriest did get an HSED in January of 2013. He enrolled at MATC to pursue a culinary arts degree in 2013. It looks like he did well at that. He also continued to work. He does general carpentry, drywalling. He's done many jobs such as that. He even during this time period when things were at their worst, he continued to make efforts and to do odd jobs for cash and continue to work hard for his children. The House of Prayer Restoration Ministry Baptist Church also, he worked there and he helped them with cleaning and rehabilitation. And then, of course, he got referrals from people for additional work. He also did Uber Eats and DoorDash. He was a driver for them for, it looks like over a year's time back in _24. So he has made numerous efforts to provide for his children. He has continued to overcome many obstacles, and they were outlined very well in the PSI as far as some of the challenges that Mr. Dupriest faced growing up. He seems to have a very good support system. I do think that reflects well on him, just the number of letters that were not only family but friends that were close to him that talk about his character as well. He is asking, he has actually been incarcerated since September, so he's been sitting in jail. He does not have much of a record at all. His last conviction was quite some time ago, as has been noted by the court. He has served 205 days already. It's been a hard time for him. He's had a lot of time to think about the future, to plan for his family. He is working with CPS. He actually has been given numerous conditions of programs that he must meet and timelines that he must meet in order, what he's hoping, of course, is to reunite with his children and his family. So he is very concerned that he be able to get out so that he can address himself to these issues. It clearly would be a good thing for the children in the future when they are reunited that he had received services, and he willingly and very actually eagerly is searching out services and is participating in programs and is doing counseling, all of that. And I think he probably wants to address that, but he is willing to do anything that the court is recommending and will do so willingly. We are actually recommending that if you have any time, if you're considering time of incarceration, that time be imposed and stayed, and that he be placed on probation so that if there are any issues, any kind of protection of the community or other issues, that would be addressed through probation adequately. Mr. Dupriest mainly wants to get back to work. He wants to fulfill these conditions that I talked about so that he can be reunited with his children. He wants to be a better person. He is eager to be a better person. He is a hardworking individual, and he wants to use that resourcefulness, that drive, that passion that he has, motivated by the love of his children and the love for others to do good and to be a better person. So we are asking that he be placed on probation and have any kind of time, additional time imposed and stayed. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Dupriest, is there anything you wish to state? You do not have to say anything at all if you do not wish. If you do, however, this is your opportunity.
I just want to be capable of being there for my children. I understand that the situation is very serious. and I understand that it's affected them. My absence has affected them, and me being absent from them further would continue to affect them negatively. I have a deadline by DCFS of December 17th to complete all of their required parenting classes, AODA, mental health assessment and treatment, gainful employment, and housing in order to be reunited with my children. If I fail, my parental rights will be dissolved. If I'm incarcerated past the time that it would take for me to do so by December 17th of 2026, my parental rights will be dissolved. And just the thought of what that would do to my children, I don't know.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Dupriest. This matter comes before the court today upon judgment of conviction having been entered after a jury trial on all counts. And the counts with the maximum penalties are as follows. As to count 1, possession of a firearm as a convicted felon. This is a Class G felony with a maximum term of 5 years initial confinement, 5 years maximum extended supervision, a $25,000 maximum fine, and 5 years maximum probation. As to counts 2 and 5, each of these counts are Class I felonies, carrying a maximum term of initial confinement of 1.5 years per count, 2 years of extended supervision per count, $10,000 maximum fine per count, 3 years maximum probation. And as to counts 6, 7, and 15. These are Class A misdemeanors carrying maximum penalties of 9 months incarceration and/or a maximum fine of $10,000. As the state said in its opening statement, it is approximately 14 years and 9 months total of incarceration that Mr. Dupriest is facing today. The court has now heard from both sides. The court has had an opportunity to read every single letter that has been filed by either side. And in every criminal sentencing, the court has to take several objectives into consideration. And that is protection of the victims and protection of the community, where the removal of an offender from society is to prevent future crimes. Punishment, where the purpose of incarceration is so that the offender realizes that he has done something wrong to which he is being punished, and where the offender deserves punishment for having acted criminally, and so that he refrain from engaging in crime in the future. Rehabilitation is where we use the resources of the criminal justice system to apply treatment and training so that the offender can return to society and function as a law-abiding member. It is meant to encourage the defendant to turn his life around, lead a law-abiding life in the future, and deterring him from future offenses. And then there's deterrence, where punishment is to demonstrate to the community at large that when you commit a crime, there's a price to pay. And when sentencing, a judge must impose the least severe sentence that achieves the goals of sentencing while considering the need for societal protection. And the sentences can range in cases from fines to probation, short-term incarcerated, suspended sentences, payment of restitution to more serious sentences and long-term incarceration. Based on the recommendations provided here from the state, the state's recommendation provides first and foremost for victim and community protection, along with the element of punishment and ultimately on extended supervision, that of rehabilitation. The defense recommendation places both victim protection as its priority along with rehabilitation, where if the court were to impose and stay a sentence, and there would be the rehabilitation, but ultimately there would be the punishment if Mr. Dupriest were to not comply with the court's orders. What factors the court takes into consideration are as follows: the past record of criminal offenses, the history of undesirable behavior patterns, Mr. Dupriest's personality, character, social traits such as his age, educational background, employment record. And the court also takes into consideration the underlying facts that are before us today. There's a criminal complaint, there was a trial, and the jurors made their decision. In this case, as most cases, there are never any winners, but in this case, everyone does surely lose. And I'm going to start by using the words of Mr. Ireland, Mr. Dupriest's brother, who himself says these children are the ones that are losing. They are missing their father. Everyone loses. Mr. Dupriest loses, the children lose, Mr. Dupriest's brothers, his sister, his mom, the community, the friends, everyone loses. As the state also said, this is a case of choices that were made. And we have a circumstance where it is true that Mr. Dupriest and the mother of his children were going through a financial hardship. That is unequivocally clear. On the night in question, they were at a friend's home. They had been offered to stay the night, and Mr. Dupriest made the decision that they would not take that offer, and instead he made the decision that he was going to take these children into this storage area, despite any offers he might have had. And I don't know if that decision was made out of pride or of issues of power and control. But at this point, it doesn't matter because the wrong choices were made. And we had young children, as young as 2 months old, that faced danger as a result of that decision. And not only did we have those unfortunate circumstances, but Mr. Dupriest did so in violation of the law by possessing a firearm as a convicted felon. He knew he could not have that firearm. He knew not to carry the firearm. He knew that because of his prior convictions, where a court, just like this, had told him what he was prohibited from doing, and he decided that he was going to do it anyway and violate the law, and that's the number one charge in this case. In reading all these letters that were filed on behalf of Mr. Dupriest, it is true that we have two different people here, the one who makes these bad choices and the other that clearly loves his children. That's never been in question, but who still can't manage to make the right choices for himself and for these children and continues to put them at harm's way. These children will suffer, just as the family has noted, because now they don't have a mother or a father, and even worse, they don't have each other. But Mr. Dupriest made those choices. The state didn't make those choices. This court didn't make those choices. Mr. Dupriest made those choices. For all these reasons, the court's going to do as follows. As to count 1, possession of a firearm as a convicted felon, the court will impose 5 years of initial incarceration, 5 years of extended supervision. This is all going to be concurrent to count 2, 1.5 year of initial incarceration, 2 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 3, 1.5 years of initial incarceration, 2 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 4, 1.5 years of initial incarceration, 2 years of extended supervision, and count 5, 1.5 years of initial incarceration and 2 years of extended supervision, count 6, 9 months HOC, count 7, 9 months HOC, also concurrent, count 14, 1.5 years of initial incarceration, 2 years of extended supervision, and count 15, 9 months HOC. The court will advise you, Mr. Dupriest, you are prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm, any body armor, or ammunition under federal law. In doing so would lead to further criminal felony charges. Restitution is 0. All non-mandatory costs are 0. Mr. Dupriest shall provide a biological specimen for DNA, and he will be responsible for that cost. You are also prohibited from voting until your civil rights are restored. The state have a position as to the no contact order.
We would request that it just follow any family court or DMCPS orders because they're going to actively be involved with the children moving forward.
So this court does not have a standing no contact order, and that's left up to the other courts involved. The court will advise you, Mr. Dupriest, that you have the right to seek post-conviction relief and, if indigent, the right to the assistance of the State Public Defender's Office. Anything else from the state?
Will there be eligibility with the substance abuse programming?
Yes, he is eligible for substance abuse program. Anything else from the state?
No, thank you.
Defense counsel.
No, thank you.
Mr. Clerk. The conditions of extended supervision will be as follows. The court will order that Mr. Dupriest attend a parenting class and that he attend the AODA assessment and any treatment necessary, and the mental health and any treatment necessary. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Dupriest, I wish you well. I want to thank your family, your friends, everyone who has written and is here to support you today. This is equally as hard for them. So thank you, everyone. Take care. One more thing, my apologies. The credit time is 205 days. Mr. Clerk, if I need to rewrite that, let me know.
I don't know what that is.
I'm telling you to say that to them. I want to.